Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing. NBA basketball is back. And New York Knicks basketball is going to be back tomorrow night as the Knicks take on Charlotte. Let's talk about it. Let's get our X factors. Let's get all our previews out here. Our predictions. We're going to break down the latest news from camp today. We've got some more footage. As you see, Landry Shamet has been impressing in camp, apparently. Patrick Ewing, Knicks legend, the captain, Big Pat, is back. Right, I'm going to get my thoughts out here. Hear your thoughts of the chat, man. What a significant movement and move that is from the New York Knicks franchise. Right, amazing. Simply put, man. Let's talk about the latest rumor. The Knicks are eyeing Marcus Smart. How would they even get that done, right? Would you want to see Marcus Smart in here? And at what price? Let's talk about that tonight as well. New York Knicks basketball is back, guys. Let the games begin. Like the title says, CT your host. Welcome in, guys. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And happy Saturday night, wherever you're at as well. The Knicks will take on Charlotte. I'm excited. Finally, we've got some games to talk about. But camp in Charleston, South Carolina is wrapping up as well. It's been good by all reports. You know, players have been gelling. Karl-Anthony Towns missed a couple of days practice, of course, but he's been definitely getting up to speed, and, you know, he's excited for his debut tomorrow. Thibs did confirm that, barring any setbacks, Karl-Anthony Towns will make his New York Knicks debut tomorrow as well. And he plans to go with the regular starters. So I'll get your thoughts in terms of who do you think is going to, factor into that, guys. But yeah, welcome in Buzzer Beater, S. Murphy, Walter, Chris, and Kaiser Soze, Dermot, Daniel. All our loyals in the building early. I'm excited, guys. I can feel the energy right now. And before we get into the latest too, we've got some fun things to announce, right? Some new channel features, which I'm really excited to announce for this upcoming season. This is just one of many. But tonight, we will be rolling out a brand new feature of this show. And without further ado, fam, interactivity in the chat, guys. Everyone watching and everyone in the chat is going to be able to vote on their player X Factor for this season. There is a live poll on the screen, and we'll monitor it all show. But all you have to do, you can vote two ways. You could drop a hashtag with the player's initials in the chat, and the poll will be going all show. And I will find out the pulse of who you think is this season's X Factor. The other way you can vote is to just scan the QR code. It'll just take you to a quick menu, and you just push one button, and you get to vote on who your player X Factor is going to be, fam. And this is going to lead into the season. We're going to be having a lot more features like this. I aim to be one of the most interactive Knicks platforms out here. Get your voices heard, fam. This is your show, and I'll be a part of the show, fam. So you're going to be able to vote on player grades, all of those things, etc. as well. So this is fun, man. I'm excited, and let's hear your thoughts. Drop a hashtag with the player's initials, right? We've got Brunson, we've got Bridges, Hart, OG, Karl-Anthony Towns, we've got Deuce McBride, and we've got Precious, and then I've got other as well. It might not be one of those guys, it might be an other as well. So all you got to do is just, get your thoughts out there on that one, if you want to, of course, and let us know if you want to see anything else. But obviously we've got Precious, we've got our bench mob, TJ Warren. It looks like he's been really impressing in camp as well. And the Knicks will be trying to get him on the roster. I think we'll continue our depth conversation too. We've got some votes coming through already. I see you, Buzzer, Cat, as well. Look forward to monitoring that as the show goes along. But without further ado, let's get through the latest, guys. We'll hear from Thibs. Obviously, we'll talk about the rumors with Marcus Smart, like I said. But shout out to all the reporting from camp. Christian Winfield with some great videos, Stefan Bondi, Ian Begley, of course, as well, bringing us the news that we need to hear. Stefan says Thibs the tentative plan tomorrow night is to roll out with those regular starting lineups for some minutes, including Cat. First has to consult with medical, but that's hope. So awesome. Looks like, as I predicted, I think we will get, early minutes from our main guys, and then it'll be straight to the bench. It'll be, a first warm up just to go through the schemes and hope everyone can get on the same page as well. Great question from Chris, and as I always do, guys, I'll star some of the great questions and comments you guys are putting in, and later in the show I'll go through it in detail as I get through the latest too. So I'm starring a lot of your comments and great questions. But on that topic, Chris asked, the regular starters is Mitch is out. Absolutely, Mitch is out. So I'm assuming that it's going to be Cat, obviously at the 5, and Josh Hart. But we'll see. Buzzer says no to Smart. We have enough guards. Is it ready? Walter, I'm doing great. Hope you're doing well as well. Many blessings to everyone. We are on the eve of a brand new season, ready to start. I'm excited to share this season with everyone, and let's go Knicks. Let's win it. Let's go all the way, baby, as well. Big Dave says, I don't see the vote. So yeah, you could hashtag just the player's initial or your QR code, and you'll be able to see the button that you can vote multiple ways, fam. It's quite simple. Just hashtag and the player initial for your X Factor. S. Murphy says Bridges will be the X Factor. The other guys will do their thing, but Bridges is that X Factor too. I highlight your comment, man, because I agree with you. Mikal Bridges is my X Factor. Obviously, he's unknown in terms of coming in brand new. Cat's the big piece, but I think the big cat is going to cook. But hopefully we get Bridges back to what he was in Phoenix, and consistent with the 3 ball. His perimeter defense is going to be really, really needed, especially with the absence now of Dante. But great to hear from Stefan Bondi confirming that the Knicks will plan to roll out the regular starters as well. Carl Anthony Towns says he's not worried about missing a couple of days of camp. I trained extremely hard in the off-season. Let's hear that.
I trained tremendously hard in the off-season, so I'm ready for whatever the season has in store for me. So I think, miss a couple of days of training camp. It was the work I put in the off-season that paid dividends, especially early on.
Yeah, the hard work he put in the off-season said paid dividends as well. So yeah, Big Cat, the biggest spotlight that he's ever faced, and I think he's built for it right now. He knows what it's all about. We talked about, the meaningfulness of him returning, right? His mother growing up a Knicks fan, her sadly passing away during some tough times during COVID, and here he is now. It's all on the line with legacies, and a great move from Leon Rose. The captain, those that are curious, Jalen Brunson, first in the gym, last in the gym, leading by example, guys. How do you feel about that? Is he your X Factor? I better see some hashtags JBs. Although, you could obviously just look at him like he's the MVP. So I get it that way. But Jalen Brunson stayed back in practice and was working on his ISO game as well. Is he going to continue to be the most dynamic isolation scorer? Right, 6'2" and under. So hard to guard, and it's because he works on his craft. He works on all these games, all these moves. Susan, I'm ready. Susan says, ready for Knicks basketball. What's good, David? Knicks basketball is back. Jet life, and the streets are buzzing. Everyone, too. Everyone that's just joined us, you can vote on your player X Factor for this upcoming season. All you got to do is either QR code and you get to vote, or you can just drop a hashtag player initials in the chat, and I will continue going all show with this poll, right? We have a couple, we've got a JB vote, we've got a couple of Cat as well, and we've got one for Deuce McBride as well. So that's good to see so far. Who's going to be starting, says S. Murphy. Great question. I feel like it's going to be Hart early on, but it's also about closing lineups. And a lot of people make great arguments about that. It's not necessarily who starts, who's going to finish. Is Thibs going to be open to, rocking with whoever has the hot hand? That is going to be a big factor as well, guys. We could go big and we can go small. And that's something that's really on this team's side in terms of being versatile, right? And of course, my X factor, many of yours as well, Mikal Bridges was pairing up with Thibs, and they were going over some notes as well, as the last day of training camp in Charleston has passed now, and the Knicks will be heading to the Charlotte, obviously, and for the final first preseason game, then back to New York City, where we host Washington on Wednesday. You see the schedule there on screen, fam. I'm excited for the month of October, right? Some tough games, but we're going to be, straight into the fire with that one. So we had Bridges, we had Thibs going over some notes. What do we have up next? Christian Winfield's reporting that Thibs has been really complimentary of Landry Shamet, right? Some people doubted the pickup. Some people are really high on the pickup to an extent where they feel like he's going to replace a lot of Dante DiVincenzo's production. But it's great to hear that Christian saying Thibs has been complimenting Landry's game on the defensive end, and the story's been filed, and that'll be out soon if it's not already dropped. So, and that was a question from a X account. Guard Up Knicks says Landry can fill a shooting spot if he earns Thibs's trust. So it looks like Thibs is trusting Landry Shamet a lot more, and I think he's going to be a big part of our bench. I think he's definitely going to be in the top 8-9 men. I think it's going to be Deuce as the 6th man, Precious Achiuwa obviously as the 7th man, and you can vote for them as your X factor, as well as other Knicks. But I think Cameron Payne will definitely be the first point guard that's preferred. I think ahead of Tyler Kolek. I think that's something we've really learnt over media day, guys, and training camp, is that Thibs hasn't really mentioned Tyler Kolek. And so I think it's going to be Cameron Payne, his experience, and also the chemistry with the fellow former Suns, with Mikal Bridges and Cam Payne, and Shamet. Hitty, what's up? Peace, everyone. Glad you could join us. Salute Paula and salute to Replay Squad as well. Drop a hashtag player initials for your X Factor in the chat, and your vote will show up on screen too. So, yeah, preseason is going to be really interesting as we dive into our preview for the first game and what I want to see out of preseason. Drop your thoughts on what do you want to get out of preseason, right? Are you most just looking forward to seeing a brand new Nick and just seeing their game? Are you hoping that we just ease up on the minutes? We don't play our main guys, early on too much, right? Look, a couple of guys are more concerned about health-wise than others, and that's going to be no surprise to anyone. And those are, OG Anunoby and Josh Hart, obviously out of the key starting 5. I mean, Mikal Bridges, I'm not really worried about his health. And there's not really any reason to be, because he hasn't missed a game. Obviously, Jalen's the most important player, but he's durable. But OG Anunoby, Josh Hart had a really physical season. It was quite taxing. And I don't want to see Hart playing more than 36 minutes, He's a really important piece, but he's our energizer bunny. He's that energizer off the bench or starting hustle play guy. If he starts to wear down, that tends to affect the rest of the team, like we saw in in the Indiana series. So I think, Hart, a lot of you guys, and shout out to the guys in the comment section as well. I read all the comments too, and great insights. And people feel like Josh Hart would be nice off the bench still, and starting Precious with a jumbo lineup as well. I think for some nights, that could be the play. I think it all depends on how Precious Achiuwa looks and how he gels. But, you could make a case for Josh Hart coming off the bench because he brings that energy. He's used to that role as well. Of course, he's probably going to close, You definitely want Josh Hart out there for those final plays because he gets you to quote Steve Kerr from Team USA, he gets you the 30-70 balls. There's Josh Hart, and that's absolutely true. Rashan says, I think Shamet will give the Knicks a boost, and I also think we need one more 5. What do you guys think about JaVale McGee? I think we would have done that if the front office thought JaVale McGee could help us out. But I do agree that I feel like the 5 situation is probably the most thin. And we'll see if Huck Pority, Jericho Sims can step up. We'll see how Precious Achiuwa goes as well. Alexander's in the building. Great to have you with us as well, guys. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Buzzer Beater says the X factor has to be Cat because if he fails, then the team that was a juggernaut with Randall will have been traded for nothing. That's a good way of looking at it as well. Cat is that giant X factor because he's the brand new piece, and like you said, there's big expectations as well. So it does appear that Cat's leading the race in the poll of your X factor for this season too. What up, Sandman? Let us know your thoughts on the first game coming up. So we'll go back to the latest news as we continue getting through it, and then we'll dive into the chat a lot more. But great to see that Thibs has been complimentary of the new piece, Landry Shamet. Looks like he's going to be on a guaranteed deal, although we're just waiting on confirmation of his deal. It's obviously only a camp deal right now, but it looks to be guaranteed, I think, once camp finishes. Right. The captain, Jalen Brunson, continues his 3-point stroke. He's on a heater right now. And, it don't get any bigger than him in terms of MVP race, and I'm going to be watching that closely. I think he's going to play really well off Karl-Anthony Towns. I think their games complement one another. You could quote your favorite 2-man throwback, whether it's Stockton Malone, whether it's Penny and Shaq. But either way, I always felt like a guard and a big complement each other more than a wing and a wing, like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. I think that's a little bit clumsy sometimes, that combination. But I feel like the combination of Brunson with a pick and pop big and a stretch big like Karl Towns is going to be dynamite, fam, as well. I wish NBA Jam was recent, current, up to date, and you could run lineups out there with Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns on NBA Jam, right, with a big and a small. Also, we have some more video, some footage of OG and Josh Lionheart, working on their corner threes. Right, that's going to be bread and butter for those guys. What do you guys think? That's going to be the calling cards of OG Anunoby especially. With Brunson running action, Bridges on the perimeter, and assuming Karl-Anthony Towns pick and pop or down low, OG is going to be in his familiar spot, which is the corner 3. And obviously Josh Hart, been working on his 3 all summer. So I really feel like, Josh Hart could continue to be their X factor. Susan says, there is no X factor. Knicks players won. What everyone does is held accountable by each other. Valid point. That's definitely great to get your thoughts on that. Sandman says, I really don't want Mitch to be traded. Too. Yeah, I feel like anything relating to Mitch in any trade, it's to do with contract money, the Knicks' awkward salary situation and health. If you're not available, it's so tough to compete, with a major piece that's not available when you need as well. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm impartial right now. I just want to see Mitch healthy. I know he can be very impactful. So I understand what you're saying, man, as well. Greetings, Johnny. Salutations to everyone. I'm trying to star some of the comments and we'll dive into later. But we've got a super chat from Buzzer Beater. Says, what's the grade for the Cat trade for Leon Rose? Thank you for the super chat, Buzzer. Great question. I don't think I even graded the cat trade overall, so timely question. Let's do that right now. So obviously you got to give up good players, to get a good player or to get good pieces back in return. I think ultimately the grade, it could really vary, in terms of how this excels or how it doesn't, according to how the front office see it. But on the surface, I'm definitely going to go B plus, B plus. The reason I'm going to stop short of an A, because there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of unknowns coming into the season, and I did feel like we had a sure thing. I felt like with Dante and Julius Randle, to me, the sure thing was that there was that consistency, there was that success from last season. This trade has given the Knicks, I think, a higher ceiling, but I do think that there's a lot more things that, there's a lot more banana peels where, we could slip up, depth wise, health wise. But if all works out, I think it has the potential to raise our ceiling higher, get to the NBA Finals and definitely be an A plus, move. But I applaud Leon Rose's, balls, and I applaud his aggression, always trying to be aggressive, always trying to, make the team better in his vision, and trying to improve the team. And so I think that's what he feels like he's done with that one. But great question. Yeah, Marvin says OG is the X factor, health wise, fam. And as I pull the voting up, right, OG, we've got some votes for OG coming through. We definitely got some votes for JB, Mikal Bridges, and Deuce McBride as well. Get your vote in, hashtag player initials or on the QR code, fam. Deuce McBride, of course, has got a vote. Precious Achua, right? He could embody the very premise of an X factor. Precious Achua. That's what I feel, because Precious is young. He showed growth with the New York Knicks. All the noise about a center and all that could be put to bed if Precious Achua is a guy for the moment for us. Yeah, a lot of people want to save their grades as well on the cat trade, but it's good to get an early grade, and then grades can change up as well. Buzzer says a B for you. We had an overwhelming successful with Randle. Anything less a failure. The margin for error is gone. Yeah, I think a lot of people have referenced this, but being a huge Marvel fan myself, I agree. I'll take it and run, and that is that we are in the end game now. Like as Buzzer said, basically we are in the end game. We can make more moves, but most likely on the margins or role players. But in terms of the core foundation, guys, this is it. This is a team that can win a championship with the threesome of Brunson, Bridges, and Towns, and then high level starters, role players in OG and Hart, like high level. Two players that would start on any NBA franchise, in my opinion, right? I got no issue saying that. OG would start on Boston. There's just no doubt about it. Josh Hart could start on Boston as well, right? And so obviously any other team, they could start as well. So what we're looking at 5 guys that can start on any NBA team, and all 5 of those guys are together on our squad. So that, that tells you what you need to know in terms of, this is it, guys, There's little margin for error, just like Buzzer said, right? So obviously one of the unknowns that I'm looking forward to seeing in training camp, in preseason, starting tomorrow, Landry Shamet, right? His 3-point shooting, very, very underrated, 38% for his career. That is huge. And obviously we lose Dante. Hopefully everyone else can elevate their 3-point shooting as well, including Brunson, Bridges, Hart now in the corners, OG, and Cat. But off our bench, We wait to see if TJ Warren sticks past training camp, but Landry Shamet looks like he will. And 38% shooter, he's going to definitely command respect from the defense. And, he could get anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes, I feel, on this squad. As that spark, he could definitely be the ninth man or the eighth man. If Deuce is 6, Precious is 7, Landry Shamet's probably got to be 8, and then maybe Cameron Payne 9. That's just the way I'm seeing it. But let's not sleep on the impact that OG Anunoby had, right? What's that statistic? Something like 26-5 that the New York Knicks are. Obviously, some of those games were when the rest of the squad was banged up. No Julius for a lot of it, but OG Anunoby 26-5. Man, numbers don't lie, right? You stretch that over an 82 game season. That's a 80 plus win percentage and a winning percentage higher than Boston, as I spoke on last season. Right, if the Knicks can continue that trajectory with OG, we have a higher win total than Boston. Right, so and they call him the plus minus god as well, always in the plus minus too. One thing's for sure is we are going to rely on OG more because no Julius, so I'm a little nervous about playing OG, at the 4 a lot. That's where Precious Achua does enter the equation because he's our key power forward reserve big man. I don't want Hart playing much minutes at the 4 either. So, like you guys said in the chat, the Knicks could be eyeing a power forward. TJ Warren, though, can play a little power forward too. He is quite versatile. TJ is 6'8". He's more of that stretch 4. But, anything to sort of get OG's minutes down a little bit as well. I think it's a long grind, guys. And, while the preseason starts tomorrow, we need to, play it smart and just ease ourselves in, and ease these guys' minutes too. Guys are going to have to step up throughout various parts of the season. And like every season, there's bumps along the way too. So let's talk about Patrick Ewing's return now. And let's talk about the Marcus Smart rumors, right? As I'll continue starring some comments with the chat. Guys, appreciate everyone for joining us. Smash that like button. The streets are buzzing. And we've got a huge Knicks season ahead, right? We've got a brand new squad. And I'm excited to see how it all looks, right? We will hear from Thibs right now. And then we'll talk about Marcus Smart, right? And then I want to dive into the Patrick Ewing news as well and get your thoughts on that.
What are the plans for tomorrow?
Yeah, just a baseline. I haven't finalized everything, but usually just, you'll have a couple segments with the starters. We'll see. We'll try to get a look at a lot of different things.
You expect Cat to play?
Yeah, I'll talk to medical first and see where he is. I think he wants to play, and he's been going full tilt so far, so we'll see where he is after today.
How much does camp change year after year? Is it dependent on player personnel, and if you have to put certain stuff in because you have a player you didn't have the season before or anything like that?
Yeah, I think, the challenge is, I think every year is coming in and you start at a zero base, even if you have the same team, is not to skip over anything. Yeah. So you start with your individual fundamentals, and then you go to your team fundamentals, and then your offensive system, defensive system, and then all the new guys have to get onto the same page together. So that's the challenge. How quickly can you do all those things? And so I think it's been good. We have good veterans, and they're all communicating with each other and helping to get the young guys along. The young guys have done a good job, and that's why the summer is so important for them with summer league, and so they have an idea of what we're looking for.
When you say that you have to...
Yeah, so there's our coach, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Thibodeau, coming in with his extension now. Does he experiment a little bit more that he's got that safety net? I think he's secure for at least 2 years. even if we don't get it done, I feel like we'll see a different version of Thibs this season. I think we've seen some small evolutions, but I think this roster will allow Thibs to try some different things. We haven't had that stretch five, and that's a fact. And so, we are going to play a little bit smaller, a bit faster, I feel. You've obviously got Indiana's, you got that kind of offense. I don't think we're going to be that heavy metal, but I think we're going to be more like, more dynamic, passing, quick passes, pull, catch and shoot, pull the trigger, space the floor out as well. And obviously led by JB. I feel like, the ball is going to be like a hot potato, and the ball is, the player movement is going to be key as well. So with that said, man, I mean, we've obviously experienced a lot of shake up, and now we're going to talk about some reports and some news come out that the Knicks, nothing is imminent, but the Knicks have had interest and have discussed internally the idea of trading for Marcus Smart. So what does that mean? And the report first came out, Chris Preseason, and basically to start, Marcus Smart's salary is $20 million. So I think any conversation about Marcus Smart needs to start with that baseline, because the Knicks always have to send out more money now than what we take back. So yes, there's that interest, and we'll get your thoughts on, if you feel like this could be a good move or not. I mean, I always think that, winning players will always help you, but it's how you can acquire them, first and foremost. Obviously, to get that kind of salary level, it would have to be Mitchell Robinson's 14, and it would have to be more, another 6 million more. And who else is making 6 million? It's Precious Achua, So, I don't see it likely, to be honest with you guys. Trading Precious Achua and Mitchell Robinson for Marcus Smart would have to be, making sure that we can get another big, because we're already quite thin at that spot. And so Marcus Smart, I could see the vision in terms of what they're thinking. He'd be a guy that would definitely be, a sixth man, or a fifth starter, a sixth starter. If you want to swap Hart back to your bench, you could play lineups of Brunson and Smart. You could play lineups of Deuce in the starting lineup, Smart with Hart off the bench. You could do so many different things, but like I said, 20 million, it's a lot, and I can't see them trading Mitch and Precious unless we're getting more pieces back another way. But we're just so close to the second apron, And so, yeah, these reports come out when, people hear things. There's sources, all over the place. Not saying this isn't true. I'm just saying, interest is different from actually, working on a trade, Maybe as the season progresses, if Mitch can't show that he's healthy, maybe that becomes more of a realistic possibility, All this says to me is that as the season goes along, Leon will be open and willing to shake things up a lot more if he feels necessary. But with that said, obviously as the season goes along, you get a chance for salaries to go down. Other teams get more, urgent and desperate. I believe the other side, the other half of that, I believe Memphis, and there's been reports that Memphis have showed interest in Mitchell Robinson. So there is also talk that Marcus Smart is on the out with that organization, and maybe not seeing eye to eye with the Memphis organization, and some, events that have transpired over the summer and stuff. And so if they're really interested in Mitch and we have a strong interest in Marcus Smart, that's where I could see these rumors starting to surface, a lot more. But for right now, I'm comfortable with not shaking things up anymore. I like his game. I like Marcus Smart, and he's definitely that veteran that can help you win a championship. He's that guy that will, maybe not be an enforcer, but he'll be that guy that can, get in people's grill, make things difficult. If I'm going up against Boston, I don't think there'd be a better guy to have off your bench than a Marcus Smart or a sixth man, kind of seventh man and all of that. But what are your thoughts? Frankie V says, I'd rather keep McBride, and I'm not a Knicks fan. Okay. So with that said, I think, yeah, the depth is important. Deuce has to stay. Like, in any further deals, there's, it's a non-negotiable for me, man. I'm Deuce McBride Hive because I feel like he has a higher ceiling. I feel like he's so valuable to this squad as a two-way player, but the contract is so nice, fam, as well. So is there any more votes coming through for your X Factor? Is Deuce McBride an X Factor for you, man? If Brunson ever misses time, he's that guy to step in. He's our bona fide sixth man right now with no longer Dante here as well. So you can hashtag initials your X Factor for this upcoming season, fam. And I won't be surprised if Deuce can average 25 to 30 minutes. I see a couple of different ways the Knicks can throw Hart back to the bench. We could go jumbo, and you could insert Precious at the 4, OG back to the 3, and Bridges back to the 2. That's a way to get Hart back to the bench. Another way is you could start Deuce McBride and, add a more stretch shooting ability with Deuce at the 2. And then you've got a real 5-out lineup with Brunson, Deuce, Bridges, OG, and Cat as well. Some people like that. I've been reading some comments coming through on, people really wanting Josh Hart coming off our bench as that spark plug as well. With Landry Shamet, reporting coming out that he's really cooking in practice as well. He could be that guy to take up a lot of that shooting, and maybe Hart next to him off the bench is more complementary too. Let us know your thoughts on that one. Yeah, we will continue to bring guests on the show, Buzzo, and bringing a guy that can talk about the CBA and the cap throughout the season will be important too. So yeah, appreciate that suggestion. I'll definitely look into it. As we get close to the apron, we're definitely in the end game now. Pulling off bigger trades is going to be more difficult. I think we won't see anything as big as the Karl Anthony Towns trade, but we might see a little ripple, a little a tremor coming through. Maybe Mitch, Deuce McBride, Precious. There is a couple of salaries we can play with. But with that said, on the Marcus Smart thing, and continue to give me your thoughts, guys, in the chat and comment section for Replay Squad. Winning player, I think he suits the mentality that this locker room and this squad is all about. I just don't see it happening financially. I wouldn't give up Mitch and Precious just to bring Marcus Smart in. I think those two are really important because the durability of Cat and OG are already a concern over an 82-game season. So I would not want to deplete my big man depth to bring in another undersized guard. It's just simply put, there's just an imbalance in this roster, right? We have too many guards already. I mean, we've got Kolek, Payne, Shamet. We've got Deuce McBride, Hart, a lot of undersized guards. And so, yes, Smart, I like his game. But we need to be looking at more jumbo wings, guys that can play 2, 3, and 4 in the case of Bridges or OG going down. And we need to be reassuring our center depth as well, in case Cat really works well at the 4 still, alongside a rim protecting big. Basically, we've seen it before with Julius, Pablo, 20 mil for a bench player? No, says Pablo. That is not smart at all. Pun intended on that one, fam. I agree with you. 20 mil for a bench player is a lot with our salary situation as well. Flexibility is going to be key. Deuce as a trade chip could even grow. You don't trade a player that's still ascending, but he's only on 4 million for 3 more seasons, right? So trading a chip like that would be foolish, in my opinion. If you could get it done another way, if you could get it done with Pacome, Dadier, Kolek, Mitch, figure out another way, maybe I would be more open to it in the future. But we'll see how it all plays out on that one. Same with Big Dave saying the money for Smart doesn't make sense on that one too, fam. 100% agree on that. Just some other news around the NBA. Trey Murphy is out with a minor hamstring for 3 weeks. So, I think Ian Begley spoke on that in his latest mailbag too, guys. We won't be seeing a Trey Murphy trade. As much as I would love to bring him on this squad, I don't think New Orleans give him up. So I don't think that's likely, fam, but he's injured now. Another player that is injured right now, and what else is new, is Robert Williams, right? Some of you would feel like he would be a nice trade. He actually makes pretty decent money, $12 million. So a Mitch for Time Lord trade would actually work straight up. Maybe he gets back healthy and we look at that in the future. But right now, he can't stay healthy. So I'm not trading one problem for another problem in terms of a player that can't stay healthy too. It's unfortunate, but yeah, this guy can't stay healthy. It just is what it is. And then, as I promised, the next topic, man, we will talk about is the big news that surprised everyone yesterday, surprised me. But now that I've had more time to think about it, I can't express how right the time is. Obviously, this should have been done a long, long time ago, but timing is everything. And I feel like it's the perfect time to bring home the captain, Big Pat, number 33, my favorite New York Knick growing up. As a fan since the early 90s, Patrick Ewing was the reason I became a New York Knick as well. Still underappreciated, I think, to this day. Yes, he wasn't perfect in terms of a go-to scorer and a player, top player on a contending team. But we'll talk about that. But what does this recent news mean and the significance? We'll get into that right now in a second too. But we've got a super chat come through from Buzzer Beater, and it says, "Hey chat, why is Mikal voted as the X Factor? Let's go Knicks." Too. Yeah, well, great question, man. I'll let the chat, sort that out as well. But let's check on some voting. Too, we haven't seen too much movement yet. Mikal Bridges is my X Factor, but right now it looks like Karl Anthony Towns is leading with that. Obviously, the big cat, the brand new Nick. And you could hashtag player initial to cast your vote for your X Factor for this upcoming season. Now, we'll get back to the Patrick discussion, right? What was your reaction when this came through? Man, it was a surprise for me. So just to go through it, it was confirmed that he will be titled as a basketball ambassador for the New York Knicks, and he will work directly with Coach Thibs and the team's front office in the role. So it's going to be apparently connected to off-court and on-court stuff as well. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Is this greasing the wheels for Patrick Ewing to one day coach this basketball team, right? Tom Thibodeau, 68 years old. He can't coach forever, right? Patrick Ewing, still a young man, in the prime of his life, in the middle of his life. So Patrick Ewing, I feel like, and a popular question that people have been asking me is, why hasn't Patrick ever been an assistant? And the answer that I had was, I always felt like Patrick Ewing has served his dues, when you've been an assistant for years, with Charlotte, Orlando, and all of that. It's a little bit of disrespect. You don't want to be an assistant anymore for too long if your goal is to be a head coach. And so, yeah, it would have been cool to see Patrick as an assistant with the New York Knicks. But I feel like that's not what he really wants in his heart. He wants to coach the team and be a head coach. And I think when you've served your dues, I think you just wait your time, until the head coaching job came up. And then Georgetown came up and he took that one. It didn't go according to plan, but the college system is pretty fickle, recruitment, all of those things are pretty tricky. So when it comes to the NBA now, I think that, the vision is to maybe see Patrick Ewing be a head coach in the NBA. And I think he served his dues. So I think maybe this is the start of something now where, look, officially he's back. He's home. And, he needs to be here. Last season, we obviously saw a lot of the legends return with people like Marbury, Mello, and Canby, Latrell, of course, LJ, Starks, and Bernard King. A lot of those guys now, basically on the sideline. But there was one big presence missing, all along. It was Big Patrick. And Patrick's back right now officially, right? He's not with any other organization or company. He's firmly working with us, directly with Coach Thibs, the front office, as an ambassador of this ball club, right? We had the recent passing of Dikembe Mutombo, and tributes are flowing for him. Rest in peace, Dikembe. And but there's talk about how successful he was in his role as an ambassador for the NBA. And him traveling the globe and trying to grow the game, expand, and all of that. With Patrick and the New York Knicks, I feel like as we have so many loyal fans and fans for so many decades and new fans, I think the bandwagon is going to grow. I think Patrick as an ambassador will continue to represent the organization like he did back in his playing days, but his experience will be important. Working with Thibs, off court, on court stuff, being a mentor to new players, new rookies. I think he could maybe be in the gym a lot more. He could work with some of those players. He could give them advice how to succeed in New York City, share his knowledge, all of those things as well. I think this is just the start of something great. And I feel like it's going to be basically for the long term, for the long haul now that Patrick is back home, fam. What are your thoughts on that when you heard it? Johnny says Ewing plus Cat equals a winning combo. Yes, sir. Amen to that. So yeah, with that said, I think Cat is a big piece that Patrick will definitely be mentoring and sharing his wisdom with as well. Arguably Cat is the best stretch big since Patrick. And that was the beauty of Patrick Ewing's game. He was like the original stretch big, right? Wasn't popping the three. It was more the deadly in the mid-range, and of course the trademark fadeaway with that one. So yeah, with that said, man, my heart is full now after seeing that. I feel like Patrick's been needing to come home for so long. James Dolan been making good decisions recently, or stepping out of the way, making decisions to let Leon Rose really run this whole organization as president. Leon Rose made comment about this move, right? I feel like that he understands, what Patrick means to the fan base. He had stints in Seattle, Washington, many stops in between, and some hard feelings on both sides. As Begley says, Ewing is back home. He'll be working on both the business and the basketball sides. And Patrick said, I can't wait to get it started too. And himself, his account, Ewing Athletics, says, I'm back as well. Just like MJ said, I'm back. Patrick is back. Now, salute. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited for this season now. We had Jay Boogie, the one and only, as well. Let everyone know that TJ Warren, right, was chopping it up with him. And TJ Warren has a chance to make a big impact on this team as well. We talked about how the Knicks could, make it all happen with the Brock Aller and the cap gymnastics too, right? I really feel like we need at least another body, and hopefully TJ Warren is that guy that sticks. Converting a rookie is the other way that we can do it, guys, but, there's a lot of uncertainty with that, so we'll wait to see. Let's get through some more questions and comments in the chat. Paula says people forget Pat was shooting from the outside. Fans complaining about that. He should be under the basket. I think the NBA has changed, obviously. People want to get up more three-point attempts and all that. And look for this squad to shoot more than 50 attempts a game. So that's just the way the basketball game is going. People copy. It's a copycat league, and once teams started shooting great from the outside with the bigs, everyone else kind of followed now. And we have the best stretch big in the game right now. Better than Chris Stapps and better than the rest of them, man. Embiid and the Joker as well. To continue to get your votes in for player X Factor, fam. Mine is Mikal Bridges. Because I just feel like two-way players are so important. We've seen it with OG. We saw it with Hart. And I really feel like maybe the best of Mikal Bridges is yet to come. That's the reason he's my X Factor, fam. I don't, and let me talk about last night, because Dante DiVincenzo absolutely had an amazing debut for Minnesota, man. Went a perfect 4 of 4 in 9 minutes. Splashed 3 of 3 from deep. Picked up where he left off, man. Did the big ragu, man. And we're gonna miss seeing him. But what I was about to say is we might not really miss his production that much if Bridges picks up where he left off, and I feel like he can. I feel like Bridges, is going to get easier looks. Don't discount that as well. When you're playing with better teammates, the looks that you get will be a lot quicker and a lot easier too. Those corner threes, the Brunson and Cat pick and roll, right? The defense is going to have to be absolutely glued to those two, right? Which is going to free up Bridges and OG in the corners as well. It's going to free up the driving lanes for a Josh Hart to attack the rim on a beeline on a closeout as well. But we've been seeing Josh Hart work on his 3 ball too, and so hopefully we see another leap with his 3 ball as I bring up some of those highlights that we're seeing in camp. And we get through more of your comments too. Smash that like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We've rolled out our first new feature of the show, which is you can vote now on a live poll in the chat QR code. And after every single game on our post-game shows, you'll be able to vote on who gets the game ball, and you'll be able to vote on player grades. Now, here we got OG popping his midi as well. OG's just got a incredible physique in terms of the core, right? His legs, I was going through some of the media day content and photos, man, and the full body photo of OG, it kind of tells me how his elevation is so key. We saw him get up and absolutely slam it on Embiid, put him on a poster. But the core of OG Anunoby, his legs are like tree trunks, right? So that gives him that kind of explosion to get off. So we've got Howard in the chat. Is this live? Is this live? Yes, we are live and direct, fam. The chat is buzzing. Of course, we are live right now. Smash that like button. Frankie V says perhaps Mikal is voted because he'll have less of a burden offensively, so he'll kind of go back to his Phoenix role. That's what I'm envisioning, fam. Definitely. I mean, he's the third option, and I think that's the sweet spot when you look at it. In Brooklyn, he was asked to be the first option, right? And that's not his role. So he slides back into what he's great at, which is being a third option, like his Phoenix days, too. I feel like Landry Shamet will find his rhythm off the bench too, because he'll be the 8th man. I think that's kind of right. You got Deuce as the 6th man, Precious as the 7th, and I feel like Landry Shamet will be 8th, Cameron Payne maybe the 9th, Jericho Sims the 10th. That's how I see the bench playing out early. But we did hear from Thibs, and he's planning to play everybody. Everybody's healthy except Mitch, and he's just kind of got to wait on a little clearance for Cat tomorrow to make his debut. But it's coming too. B says, I don't think people realize how much of a big whisperer Thibs is. Precious, Randall, Noel, iHeart were not good before Thibs got here. Consistency, yep. Yeah, I feel like Thibs definitely gets bigs understanding defensively and what he needs from them, rotations and preparation as well. I'm glad we got Mark Bryant here as well. Let's see if we got Jericho can make a leap and all of those things too. Sekou says we don't need Smart. We want McBride. Don't spend another 20 mil on a bench player. So it's a no. I agree. Sergio says we need depth. Yeah, I think the aim will be, as the season goes, to maybe, be opportunistic, I would say. Not like trying to, throw Mitch on the block or anything, but if, teams are really, really interested and they're willing to give us some good pieces, then you gotta listen. So, teams aren't, we're not really calling teams on Mitch. They're calling us, so they see that we got Big Cat and they see that, Mitchell Robinson is injured and maybe they can get him on the cheap, These opportunistic teams, they do try to, strike while the iron is hot. Right now, although Mitch is injured, he's out of the rotation. So I think if you're a rival front office, you can, maybe try to get him on the cheap. So, I like to separate the two. It don't mean that the Knicks are trying to throw Mitch out there for cheap on the block. It's like other teams are also interested. A lot of them. We got Washington. We heard Memphis, New Orleans. A lot of those guys too. And yeah, we got Time Lord who's injured already. So that's another no for me as well, guys. So yeah, who else is a realistic target? I think to fill out our bench, right? Maybe we, see how that rookie is coming along. The one that we, acquired from Charlotte. We could always bring him on a two-way or a guaranteed rookie deal for cheap as well. He's a, elite rim runner and a really, dynamic defensive prospect. He's, set a 9-7 standing reach, fam. Not 9-4 standing reach with a 7-7 vertical. A 7-7 wingspan, sorry, and a 9-4 standing reach. And he's James Nagy as well. Ariel Hukporti could be an X factor too, coming in. Not the biggest X factor, but we haven't really seen him, and he's been playing pro as well. So, yeah, I like to pick up a Landry Shamet, but my expectations aren't super high. He has been a little inconsistent, but, he's got some skills. So we'll see how that plays out. And speaking of skills, what are your ideal minutes for Jalen, minutes rotation-wise? There could be a lot of blowouts this season. I'm expecting a lot of blowout wins. If the game is close and if the game is tight and it's against a rival, I expect him to play his normal 36, 38. But what I want to see Thibs adjust better is if the game is out of reach, if we're leading by, 10, 12 points, with 3 minutes remaining, 4 minutes remaining, if we're up 18, get Brunson out of the game. Don't risk something like you did with Julius, getting an inconsequential injury, in the later stage of the game when the game is already over. So whilst you can't really factor in, in terms of Brunson's minutes, if the game is close, he's going to play. But if the game ain't close, then don't take those risks. Get him out. Get him out on that. So Howard says, you disagree with me on the Shamet one. Payne is a better defender than Shamet. So yeah, I want to see Payne in action. But the talk we're getting, Howard, is that Landry Shamet is catching Thibs' respect defensively out of camp. So, you might be wrong on that one because, the story coming out of camp is that Landry Shamet has been, playing well both sides of the ball. Right? And we've got our corner kings, OG, Hart, and Bridges working on their 3 game as well from the corner after practice. Hart's form looks nice. It was always about, is he going to hesitate? Is he going to pull the trigger when he needs to? He did speak, and Josh Hart said that he's worked on his 3-point shooting throughout the summer, but he's also mindful that he was hesitant sometimes, and that he's not going to be hesitant anymore. If the defense leaves him open, he's just going to let it fly. So that is great. Great to hear as well. Paulus is 35 minutes for Brunson. Yep, that's the sweet spot. That's what he averaged last season as well. So I agree with you on that one. Appreciate the comments, guys. Try to shout out as many people as I can and starring some of the comments as well. And I appreciate the love. EJ and I, man, we love doing this. And we're ready for a big season ahead, man. Very interactive Knicks content. We're rolling out more features for the channel. We're great to have you with us. Andrew says, definitely like this revamped Knicks team. Yep. Pablo says, I would trade Mitch and B for Washington's own pick at the trade deadline for Valanciunas. Yeah, that could be a name to watch. I've definitely spoke on him a lot, and I feel like he would help. I think it's just all going to come down to how it looks early. Cat could really be that effective 5 that we just don't really need to change up. Precious could be a really consistent backup for us as well, and maybe our offense is just thriving, and maybe he's an improved defensive player as well. Like you guys said in the chat too, Thibs can get the best out of those bigs, so don't underestimate Thibs getting in the lab with Cat. Like their chemistry from back in the day. He got Minnesota to the playoffs, so I think Cat being more mature, maybe more open to listening to what Thibs has to say. I think Thibs could maybe turn Karl-Anthony Towns to a very serviceable, above average, maybe defensive center as well on that part of his game. I think the accountability of this squad will go up as well, guys, too. Corner Kings, Ryan. Too. There's going to be a lot of corner shots, and I guess that's what I'm feeling the best about, heading into the season now, as we're previewing the first game tomorrow. The best thing that I'm feeling good about this season, guys, is our offense. I think guys are going to get easier looks, just if you just go off the career averages, and the opportunity for growth. I think, Hart's shown that, he'll do whatever's needed. He'll attack the rim, or he'll, pop the 3. I think Karl-Anthony Towns can only get better, I feel, through, working on his game and maturing. Of course, Jalen Brunson had his best season ever last season, and he's got more spacing around him as well, right? If you're an MVP type player like Brunson and you're heading into this season with those other 4 guys around you, tell me you're not going to be feeling, really, really hype. You're not going to be feeling hungry, optimistic right now, right? We're not going to be seeing those traps as often, those doubles coming for Brunson, because basically, we'll be punishing any of that, right? Any double teams will get punished this season as well. So I'm feeling good about it. Defensively is the big question. How do we hold up? How do we hold up defensively? Let us know your thoughts. Yeah, appreciate the love, Howard. Continue to give us your comments, guys. Paula says Thibs has been talking about him a lot, so you never know with Shamet. So excellent. Definitely. I think it's been a really successful training camp. No injuries so far, knock on wood. Now don't go hell for leather in the preseason. As preseason kicks off, fam. Tomorrow night we'll be live, of course, post game with you all. Join us, and we'll shout your comments out. Working on new channel features to roll out as well. You get to vote on the game ball player grade. But tomorrow night we got Charlotte. Then we got a couple days to stew on it, and then we got Washington, and then we got 3 days to evaluate what we're seeing, and then I think things are going to start to get real, like really real, come the 3rd game against Mini. Guys, what are your thoughts on how we should approach these games? I think Thibs basically confirmed tomorrow that everyone's going to play, but it does look like they're just going to be, getting their feet wet, getting the rust off. Probably 9 minutes, 8-9 minutes to start, and then I think they won't play again. The starters, I think, so it will give these bench guys an opportunity, to show what they're all about and put their hand up. Don't forget, we're trying to do some players are solid, and those are Chuma Okiki, or however you say it. Apologies, but with Chuma, he's on a camp deal, and I feel like we did a little favor for him and his agent, give him a platform to show what he can do for other teams as well as the New York Knicks. So I'm expecting Chuma Okeke, to be a part of some garbage time. I'm expecting TJ Warren as well on a camp deal, see what he can do. And so we'll see what also happens with the Rooks. But that's just another reason why, play Brunson, play those starters for maybe 5 to 8 minutes, just to get them in the rhythm first up and then get them out. Do you guys agree or disagree? Like S. Murphy says, we'll see a small sample tomorrow until everyone learns each other. Yeah, fully agree on that one. Buzzer says, CT, which Eastern Conference team should we look for low key? Low key, man, it's the Magic. It's the Magic for me, fam. They're tough. They've got size. They're rugged. I think the Bucks are aging. They're on the decline. And I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are kind of like plateaued, Fam, they haven't really changed it up much. So, that's an easy one for me. I'm going to say Orlando, the Magic on that one. Whenever you got a young team, they got room to grow. And I think they're going to get better. The Bucks, I think we've seen the best of them, right? I don't think suddenly, Chris Middleton is going to get more healthy, right? I don't think we're going to see that as he gets more older. Same with Damian Lillard as well. I think they're very top heavy in terms of like they've just got 3 guys, and some of the concerns that the people have on the New York Knicks, I'm talking about the national media, saying we're a little light with the depth and we're top heavy. Well, you better bring the same energy with Milwaukee. Right? They're even more top heavy with less depth. That's right. They cannot sustain a Chris Middleton, Damian Lillard, or Giannis injury, or they're screwed. Whereas I think if we lost 1 or 2 key players, I think we're still good enough to be a top 4 seed, or out of the play-in and just hold our spot, until those guys got back. I can't say the same for Milwaukee. I just can't. Same with Cleveland. I mean, we've seen it. What if Donovan Mitchell got injured? What if Garland went down on that one? Giants Realist says, if we trade Mitch, it should only be for a starter, in my opinion. That lets Hart slide back to the bench. You definitely want to aim high, try to get the best player back you could available. Mitch is a starter on this team, technically. It just, I guess it's all going to depend on how Cat looks as a 5 and, how, OG is going as well. His health, all of those things will factor in. But like we know, Hart is our Swiss Army knife. He could plug any hole with the starting 5, or he could just go back to a bench role on that one. Yeah, we got the Thibs. We got the Thibs image. He's been enjoying the off season. That was him at the Mikal Bridges presser too. We'll update some things as the season goes along. Definitely, seeing Karl Anthony Towns, right? It's still adjusting to me, right? And seeing him on the floor tomorrow night is going to be a reality check for real. When he pops that first 3 ball, his 3-point shot, man, it's kind of effortless. He doesn't even need to jump. He just literally flicks his wrist and the ball goes up, and it usually goes in from 3. So when Karl Anthony Towns pops his first 3 ball, man, the crowd is going to go wild. It's in Charlotte, so that there's going to be a lot of Knicks fans represent tomorrow night. I wonder if Jay Boogie will be in the building. I'm going to guess he probably will be. I'll hit up Jay Boogie after this and find out. But yeah, it's going to be a pro Knicks crowd, I think, tomorrow night as well. And then obviously the second game, the Garden, like we know, is going to be buzzing with that. We've got Knicks season ticket holders in the chat, and we've got Knicks season ticket holder guests as well. We'll be talking to a few, obviously, as the season goes. Friend of the show, John Schmelk of the New York Giants. Go Giants. And I will talk to John as well coming up. We're going to talk to another guest, Benji, you guys might know, who's a Knicks season ticket holder and a huge Knicks fan. We'll be talking to Benji as well. So yeah, Trey Murphy got hurt, Ryan. So yeah, I think we're going to wait to see what happens with him. But yeah, my minutes tomorrow, I'll be playing it cool. Just ease these guys in. Let them, kind of shake off some rust as well. The two guys I'm worried about health-wise the most is probably with Hart and with OG, just from the wear and tear that those guys had last season as well. But of course, the durability of Cat is going to be absolutely massive with that one. So yeah, Jorge says no more trades. Yep, definitely. I feel like we're okay for now. We'll see what happens. But I do think the one of the major reasons that they'll be looking into something is the money. Just trying to see if they could get something from some player salaries that might have an uncertain future with the team. I mean, Precious is on a 1-year deal, so he's going to want security. He's going to want to ball out and get a confirmed deal as well. Mitch is injured, but he's got some contract security too. But Jericho Sims is that other big guys. He doesn't have a contract after this year, so he's going to be buzzing to to factor into this rotation and show Thibs and the fan base that that he's that guy. Also, Landry Shamet, talk about a veteran who's 27, had to take a non-guaranteed deal. Right, this is a guy that's been on contenders before, and is in the prime of his career on a veteran minimum unguaranteed deal. So Shamet has got a lot to prove as well, and TJ Warren too. So yeah, injuries can occur too. Yeah, what do you guys see for Randall in Minnesota? Buzzer says I think the Wolves are going to trade Randall for salary space. He has the option of opting back into his contract, fam. So that is something to look out for as well when it comes to Randall. I feel like there's a chance he does opt in. Health is a main concern. He can opt in for 30-something million. That gives him a bit more security, I think, for another year. We'll see. And then maybe Minnesota do trade that. I do feel like they're looking at Naz Reid, and they're eyeing his, growth development to elevate too. Howard says, CT, I come up with 7 or 8 teams in the East not winning 35 games. Yeah, the East is going to be, it's going to be a bloodbath, down low. It's definitely going to be waving the white flag for Cooper flag, especially Brooklyn. They paraded Cam Thomas out there. He's going to empty the clip this season. Yeah, I'm not worried about morale with that. I think this team is super tight. You see the quotes at camp. It's like, all grit, close knit. All of that. So I think no quit. Yeah, it's no quit, all grit, close knit. Eddie says, CT, we have a Halloween block party today, and my daughter went as Deuce McBride in Chicago. No Bulls gear sighted. We went as Thibs with the quarter zip and physique. Nice one. Salute, Eddie. That's cool, man. Many blessings to you, your daughter, and Nick's family. Yeah, what do you think about Deuce's new look? I think he's definitely gonna probably lock in and put the braids on as the season starts. But yeah, he's definitely rocking his hair. He's letting his hair flow on that one. Buzzer with the super chat says you, CT included, Schmelk equals Nas, DJ Premier, track, pure fire. Let's go, Buzzer. Yeah, I love John Schmelk, talking to him and hearing his thoughts as well. We get great insight because, of course, he's a Knicks season ticket holder. Used to host his own Knicks podcast on WFAN, The Bank Shot, as well. And, of course, he's Mr. New York Giants right now. Go Giants, too. That's my football team. But definitely in a tough situation right now. Shout out to all the Mets fans as well, Yankee fans. We've got the Rangers starting up too. We've got football season in the thick of it. But let's be real, man. None of it compares. None of that compares to when the New York Knicks tip off. The New York Knicks are going to run the city this season. Everyone is going to jump on board. This is everyone's ticket to success this season is the New York Knicks, right? Leon Rose is aggressive, right? He's not letting, favors, family things cloud his vision, and he's open to making adjustments. AP says, let's go Mets, taking down those Phillies as well. South Gooner, we here. One more sleep, fellas. Shout out to you, South Gooner and the gang. Let's get it. Juan Miguel says the Deuce is loose. Yes, vote for Deuce. Put hashtag DM in the chat and vote for your X Factor this season, man. The votes are lacking right now. Get your vote in. Who's your X Factor? Or you could scan the QR code on this one. We rolled out a new channel feature, but also after the game, post-game starting tomorrow, you'll be able to vote on each player grade with me too. AP says I'm an honorary American. I appreciate that, man. We're all family. We're Knicks family. But those of you that may not know, man, I don't know if I've shared this before, but I have lived in America. I was living in America 2020, right before COVID hit. I was living in Los Angeles. And I was attending all the games as well. I got to see Knicks versus Lakers, Knicks versus Clippers, the start of the 2020 season. I was in LA, when Kobe, unfortunately, the late great Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. When Kobe passed away, I was living in West Hollywood at the time in LA as well. So, got a lot of friends, in the US and a lot of family, of course, you guys included. Hope to make it to the game soon in New York. You guys checked out our little segment with Bill Pedo. I appreciate that as well. We're talking to Bill throughout the season. Now, we did hear from Bill that there is going to be a new announcer, a third announcer to back up Breen and Kenny Albert as well. I didn't get a chance to check, but hopefully we see some Gus Johnson as well. But of course, Breen, Clyde are back, our favourites. Rebecca Harlow will no longer be doing sideline, but I think they'll be doing some of that with Alan Hahn as well. So Hahn is going to be rolling up his sleeves like Alan Hahn does, and he's going to be representing on the sidelines as well. I'm excited to see what those guys produce this season as well. But yeah, new look team, man, and tomorrow night, like South Gooner said, we get to see it in action. It looks like we'll see the starting five that Thibs prefers, right? So that is going to be the first real giveaway of what we're going to see this season. But it's all going to be about closing lineups as well. We got versatility. I feel like there's nights that really Deuce McBride could close with the shooting. Excuse me. I really feel like Precious Achua, there could be nights where he closes at the 5 and Cat can slide to the 4 against extra bigs. Because I feel like there's going to be teams, guys, that are going to try to counter what we do. And they will try to, throw a glitch in the matrix when it comes to, maybe trying to throw Cat off kilt at the 5. Maybe they'll try and go jumbo with us. Maybe Minnesota try to go Nas Reed, together with Rudy Gobert. So what do you guys think about that? If it's Naz Reid versus Rudy Gobert, do you guys really think that we're going to go with OG and Cat, or do you think we'll pull out Precious or Jericho Sims? Who else can go big? I don't see Boston going big very much because you want to get Tatum and Brown on the court. And obviously KP needs to stay more healthy as well. Now let's get to Eddie F with a super chat. Appreciate you, Eddie. Great to have you with us as always, and your comments and support means a lot. Eddie says, I've been listening to you every day and haven't donated in a while. Thanks, CT, for all the great off-season content. I'm super excited to spend another season with you and our brother from down under. The feeling is mutual, Eddie. And like I said, appreciate the support and just your thoughts. I love bouncing off your thoughts and opinions on everything, right? And I'm honestly learning, and I love perspective as well. So, as you guys know, we are an open platform. We respect everyone's opinions, right? You won't see me clowning anyone's opinions or takes. If something is disrespectful, that is different. That's different. But if you've just got a Knicks take and we chop it up like we do, man, the streets are buzzing because of us. Susan says Clyde will dress to impress, the voice of the Knicks. Clyde is going to be rolling out some special suits this season as well. Clyde doesn't want to get upstaged by anybody, right? Clyde is the headline with this thing, fam. I'm looking forward to seeing more Patrick Ewing with Clyde on the sidelines too, fam, as well. I know Howard would appreciate that. Many Knicks fans, 60, 70-year Knicks fans as well. Love seeing these OGs together, right? I think once and for all, I know there's Charles Oakley out there. I can't really dwell on it, much because I don't really have much to say. But yeah, Charles Oakley is a guy that some of you have mentioned tonight, right? If there is one more guy out there that isn't a part of what we have right now, it's Charles. It's the enforcer. But obviously, some of those things that have happened in the past have been a little self-inflicted. Maybe time heals all wounds. So maybe we do see something change with that. Let us know your thoughts on Oak. Obviously, we miss Mace. Rest in peace. I got no doubt Mace would be present. He would be part of this. I think if Mace was around, but his son is still living his legacy, representing as well, and all of that. So yeah, as Dirty Dancer says, Oak would have to apologize to Ewing. That is another thing I just remembered as well. Yeah, it's not just the Dolan thing, it is Patrick involved now in that as well. But yeah, let's get some predictions from tomorrow night, starting with buzzer. Knicks 117, Hornets 15. Man, I could see that, honestly. Look, on the Hornets front, actually, I gave them some credit for helping us out, with the Cat trade. Right? That might be the most credit they get this season. But as you guys know, the trade doesn't happen without Charlotte, right? They obviously got 3 second-round picks, but they had to spend more money, and they had to waive a couple of players to absorb our players. So shout out to the Hornets. They've obviously got a new coach with Charles Lee, and formerly good relationships with Steve Clifford as well, with Thibs. So I think they're one organization where we don't feel threatened by them. I don't think they feel threatened by us. So I could see us making more moves with Charlotte moving forward. Maybe that is with Nick Richards. But we also thank them. We got James Nagy back out of that deal. So I appreciate that. I think he could be a guy we see next season with another year under his belt. I think. But with that said, I think Charlotte, hopefully I pray that they're healthy. LaMelo Ball has been definitely not worth the money that he's been owed just because he can't stay healthy. I like Brandon Miller, though. I mean, he's kind of started torching us a lot. I like his game. but we need to shut that down starting tomorrow night. You know, we got OG, we got Bridges as well. Let's go. Obviously got Spree, we got Starks. I mean, I was thinking about this last night, guys. We could do a show on New York Knicks trades, but there's been so many trades that benefited the New York Knicks that were bittersweet. We had to give up players that we love, and some of them returned. But some of these trades have been real win-wins, and I think the Cat one will be right up there, you know. Talking about trading Starks to get Spreewell. Talk about trading to get LJ in the building. We traded to get Derek Harper, you know. Obviously, Earl the Pearl, you know. There's been so many trades to benefit the New York Knicks. Marcus Camby. Some of the trades didn't work out as much. But I really feel like this Cat trade is going to be among the best, right? It's going to be. If we win a championship, when we win a championship in the next 5 years, I think we'll look back on the Cat trade as obviously, you know, something that helped make that happen as well. So that is absolutely huge too. Roberto has cast a vote for Deuce McBride as the X Factor. Salute. Deuce Hive, stand up. Deuce has got a vote there, but he's trailing Karl Anthony Towns right now. David says Cat will make 2 threes early on in the game, and then he might sit after that. We'll see. Yeah, we don't need to really prove anything tomorrow night. You know, I obviously hope that we win still, because you know that's important still. But with preseason, it's all about health, you know, and how guys look and can gel. As well. Great to have you with us, guys. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hopefully you enjoy our content, and that's why you're here. But we're the biggest, best fan base in the business of sports, the most passionate, and we deserve this now. Now is our time, because it's been a long time coming. Now, I mentioned there's going to be a lot of new fans. There's no doubt about it. People love a winner, baby, right? So the bandwagon is going to grow, right? But a lot of people were upset with the Knicks, maybe in the 2000s, and they turned to something else, right? A lot of those fans are going to return once the New York Knicks get close or start winning more. That's going to happen, right? We've noticed, the community buzzing a lot more. Obviously, a lot of trades have been happening, but for good reason. I think the Knicks are set. People know that we're going to really compete for a championship starting this season, right? We stay healthy, hopefully. Dirty says stay gone for those fans. I even suggested, I think there's going to be some fans that went to the Brooklyn Nets early that are going to be like, to hell with this. I'm going to go back and dust off some Knicks gear. To those people, what would you say? Probably the same thing. Stay gone. And South Goodness shouts out to us who slogged it out as well. Absolutely. But I think there was some winning along the way that helped us out, to keep people, tight, and those were the 54 win seasons with Melo, with Woody, with that. Obviously the run with Stoudemire coming in. There was Lynn's sanity that kept people going. There was different areas, different times, but it wasn't consistent enough to. The Cat trade, it could be make or break as people see it, right? But I feel like this season is the start of like a 5-year window, legit, because you look at all these guys' contracts, and it's all about the future because they're in their primes, and everyone's kind of under 30 as well. So also these guys, we're not relying on their athleticism, they're not like a freak athlete like a Zion that needs to stay healthy, or like an aging Vince Carter or someone like that, I look at our roster and it's like everyone kind of is a good shooter, but their game's not predicated on athleticism. So I can see Brunson's game aging very well. I could see Hart, Cat, OG and Mikal Bridges, playing at a very high level, into their 30s as well. So, yeah, so we went through the camp footage early in the show. Guys working on their shots. Jalen's ISO game and 3-point shot is still on the money. I love that little spin move. As Coach Nick B-Ball Breakdown said, the best post-up player, the best post-move player in the NBA, right? And it just so happens that he's 6'2", but he's unguardable, right? It doesn't matter how tall you are, it's unguardable because he can spin around, he can hit the shot, he can also do the up and under move and the double pivot. He plays off 2 feet, like they taught with Jay Wright back in Villanova as well. We talked about Dante's debut last night with Minnesota, a perfect 4 of 4. He went 3 of 3 from deep, man. Minnesota fans falling in love with Dante DiVincenzo already. So that is one half of the trade already playing now. Tomorrow night, we get to see the rest too. Roberto says our bench will be solved during the season. McBride will be the 6th man. Precious will be the first big off the bench. We need to develop 8th guy and trade for a 9th. So yeah, I think early Landry, Shamet, and Payne will play a lot, and then I think Thibs will give opportunities to Sims to see if he could take those chances. But according to Thibs, he likes our depth. He likes what we have. So we'll see. We'll see if Thibs, keeps that same tune, as the season goes, or he, talks to Leon about making some more moves. Yeah. Can't wait to see the new team. Yep. Absolutely agree with you on that. I'm buzzing right now. I mean, games can't start fast enough, right? It's good to see some games tomorrow. Last night, LA getting pumped. That was good to see as well. The Dominican fans are really going to show up, says David. Absolutely. Absolutely. Huge population, represent, support their guy as well. We talked about Pat coming back and what that means to me. I feel like that's just the missing piece that's now fulfilled, and I can't wait for the season to begin. I talked about the Marcus Smart rumors. I don't see it happening financially, I mean, I know how the Knicks can do it. I just don't see them. I don't see them doing that early, right? Trading Mitch's salary with Precious to get to 20 million would basically keep us in a tough cap situation, and it would remove any other trade chips that we would really have with decent salaries as well. So, yeah, I don't really see that happening much. Stanley would disagree. It would be great to get Marcus Smart, says Stanley. He would really help backing up Brunson. It would deplete more depth. So I think that would really hurt us. I think Marcus, the player, would fit this culture. But yeah, I just don't see. I don't see it being. I see it being a pretty big gamble. On that front. So the camp has wrapped up officially in Charleston, South Carolina, and we head to Charlotte now. And I think we'll pick up a win tomorrow night. Buzzer says 117 to 15. I'm going to say we win. I'm going to say we go 110 to 95. 110 to 95. I think we'll see. We'll get to see their young players a lot and our young players a lot in the second half. I think that's what preseason is about, early on. It's just giving guys opportunities, giving them reps early. We've got 5 preseason games this time, so we're not really in a hurry to get, to really get acclimated early. I think early, it's just about getting guys, some smaller minutes, early in the game and protecting their health. I definitely believe the rumors, Stanley. Like, the links are legit. I could see the New York Knicks being admirers of Marcus Smart's game, you know. When you're in the trenches, you're fighting in deep playoff runs. I mean, Marcus Smart is a guy that you would want to go to war with, no doubt about it. He's basically a Josh Hart clone. I value having Precious and Mitch on this team more than another guard, I think our big men depth is going to get tested. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be foul trouble. There's going to be little knock injuries and knick-knacks and all of that. I think so. I think it's really important to protect those guys as well. I don't want OG Anunoby also playing all his minutes at the 4. Ideally going jumbo size and getting OG at the 3, Bridges at the 2 could be a real deadly weapon for us. Having JB protected by 4 bigger bodies, I think would be nice. We could also do some great shooting lineups as well. Yeah, we've got all the boroughs represented, like AP says. Shout out your borough. Buzzer, am I going to place any bets on a betting site on the win total for the Knicks? Vegas saying, yeah, 53. I will. I always do a little parlay as for some good luck. I've got the overs both times for the last 2 years. I'll do it again, fam. It's easy money. I think health permitting over 53. The reason that we get good insight on that is because Thibs, we know Thibs pushes for every single regular season win. We don't do load management like those other teams, and that eliminates a bit of cloudiness over do I go the over, do I go the under? I think with the New York Knicks, it's pretty clear. If you believe in the team and health, we're going to be over. Because Thibs gets the best out of this squad too. So yeah, Cat is going to play tomorrow, fam. Absolutely. We got word that Thibodeau is planning to play Cat tomorrow, barring any late setback. That is barring any last minute setback too. Johnny says we take it 120-105 for the Knicks. Dirty says if Hart starts, he should be the 4, in your opinion. So we could play a little faster, be more switchable. That is something to look out for. The fact that people have so many different ideas on how we can play lets us know that we are versatile, and and Thibs knows this. He's been chopping up a lot of film, and he's excited, to play these different lineups. I think, but that is if everyone's healthy. If everybody's not healthy, we could be in some trouble. That is the main concern I have over this season. Not about talent. It's not even about chemistry. It's just about health. A couple of bodies. Someone is going to have to step up as well. But the good thing is it's early in the season. As I said, I predict there will be a trade during the season at some point. Leon, 3 years running now. It might even be 4. He's made a trade every single in-season. Going back to Derrick Rose, then it was Cam Reddish, then it was Josh Hart, then it was OG Anunoby in the middle of the season. So we'll see how it all plays out. But we got through the best of today with the best chat in the biz, and let's get ready for tomorrow. Fair, I'm ready, but the New York Knicks will finally play basketball tomorrow night, fam. I could not be more excited. The streets are buzzing as well. Let's go through the poll now, fam. You voted on your player X Factor. It looks like Karl Anthony Towns is the leader in this one, fam. But after that, it's split between Mikal Bridges. It's split between Brunson and Deuce McBride on that one. No votes for Precious or other. And no votes for Josh Hart. Right, so everybody knows what Hart brings to the table. But mine is Mikal Bridges on that one, fam. And it's great to have you with us. Smash that like button. Knicks basketball. We'll be back post-game live tomorrow night, right after the game. It's an earlier tip, 5 p.m. it got moved from 7 to 5, so it'll be an earlier post game. People can get, basically join us early now. It won't be too late on a Sunday night for the first game, right? Let's get it. And New York Knicks, let's go. Start of the season. Peace, everyone. See you tomorrow.